What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Schvink here. And Packers fans, it's Mock Draft Monday here on the channel. We've got 3 weeks and change until the 2022 NFL Draft. So why not throw out an updated 7-round mock draft for the Green Bay Packers here, our second one of this draft cycle, and the first one post Davante Adams trade. So get to see what Green Bay might be able to do with those first and second round picks they got from the Raiders. In this mock, a couple surprises. Before we get to that, though, drop a like button, maybe subscribe if you're new. There'll be plenty of Packers draft-centric stuff here in the coming weeks and post-draft as well. So don't miss out on that and stay subscribed. But now, yes, into the mock here. So quickly, first things first, I do think Brian Gutekunst is going to move around in this draft, and that's something that he has often done. So in this mock draft, we had 2 trades, actually. So the first one, and both are trade downs. The first one with the Giants, Packers giving up 28 and 92 to move back to 36, but do pick up pick 67 in the process. It's a good move back. There might be some guys available at 28 that Green Bay likes, but I like the move back here, get an early third that you could potentially move up with that 67th pick if you want to. But I did end up moving back again here. Traded 67 for 82 and 114 with the Atlanta Falcons. So 2 moves back in this one. And it starts off, though, at 22, of course, with a wide receiver, and that is TREYLON BURKS from Arkansas. A big wide receiver, big, strong, fast, and young. That's something I think the Packers will like. I know that the athletic testing wasn't otherworldly that some were expecting, but again, I think the expectations were too high for him. Even though, again, at 6'2", 6'3", 225, he's going to be able to be that size speed threat. He can beat press with his hands, with strength. He can win with speed. He blew by defenders in the SEC. Now, technically, as a route runner, the mental game of being a route runner isn't there yet with him. There's very clear examples of, not moving a defender off his spot where he's leveraged to create space for himself. That's a common thing you see on film. But to overlook the potential and the upside with Burks is maybe a little foolhardy at this point in the process. So maybe we're nitpicking the athleticism a little bit too much. Again, like we said, blow by press, but you can give him scheme touches. Aaron Rodgers can throw this guy smoke routes a lot early on. He can win after the catch, averaging over 9 yards after the catch per reception. That's a big, whopping number in the league of what Deebo Samuel and A.J. Brown did in their rookie season. So I think it makes sense here. I think he really adds that versatility to your offense. I know Amari Rodgers is there, but this is a guy who's bigger, stronger, and faster. So I do think he's very much still on the Packers board there at 22. Could see a receiver run early. I think the Packers potentially get the 5th guy here in Burks at 22. So moving along, we obviously move back to 36. JAQUAN BRISKER. Now this one may be a little shocking. I get it. The whole, why are we drafting this guy when there's 2 guys in-house in Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage? Well, the Packers did this in 2019, right? With both Smiths there, they still drafted Rashawn Gary because they believed in the potential. Obviously, now Zadarius Smith gone, Rashawn Gary's there. So now you have a guy in JAQUAN BRISKER who, because the Amos extension hasn't happened yet, it's really a wait-and-see type of thing after 2022. You get Brisker, who's also a versatile chess piece at safety. You can move around, put him in the box. He's got good instincts and good feel in too high. Whether it be working inside out, he finds the ball well, good ball skills, and he's a good tackler. You can move him around to different spots. That would be an unbelievably good secondary if Brisker was added to that mix. So 53rd overall here in the second round, we're going to go Drake Jackson, the edge rusher from USC. I do think the Packers are going to dip into the edge rusher class. It's too good not to, and I think they'll do it early. Drake Jackson, another guy who's young at 21, where his best football, I feel like, is ahead of him. I mean, his final season at USC, not super productive. We're looking at, 5-6 sack guy for most of his career, but did have 5.5 sacks and 11.5 tackles for loss as a freshman. Good numbers. I just don't know if the USC coaching staff really developed him well enough. He's still a speed rusher, can win around the arc, win with inside move, has that athleticism, the explosion, the twitch to do that type of thing. But I think he can add weight to his frame. And this is a potential guy who down the road could be a 3-down defender. But early on, you're going to give him that role of a rotational rusher to get after quarterbacks. And I think he's going to be pretty darn good at it because he has the speed and flexibility to do so. So at 59, we're going to go Cincinnati wide receiver Alec Pierce. This may be a little late for Pierce, believe it or not. I know in mock simulators. You could get him in the third a lot. I don't think it's going to happen. Just too big of a player, too fast of a player. The combine really elevated his stock after a so-so Senior Bowl where he left early. Size and speed are huge here. A good release package off the line. He's dynamic enough against press to win, and he's fast enough to stack vertically, can separate with speed, and wins a lot at the catch point. He's a tough player at the catch point, and he also can pick up yardage after the catch. So he's a strong player in all aspects. I think he could potentially move into an X type of role here and also expand space with that vertical presence in this offense. And now you have two bigger guys in Burks and Pierce, who I think Rodgers is really going to like, both sure-handed players as well. So now we move to that 82nd selection in the third round. It's Greg Dulcich, the tight end from UCLA, who was pretty productive in his final season, 725 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging 17 yards per reception. It's a big number. He's a long strider, wins with that speed up the seam and after the catch. He gives you a fluid mover and just another weapon in the passing game for Rodgers to utilize. Obviously, there's still question marks in the tight end room. Josiah DeGuara, what is he really going to be this season? What are we going to see from him? Tunyon's coming back from injury, and Mercedes Lewis is getting up there in age. So the tight end room still has there's still bodies in the tight end room, but I think Dulcich gives you that added youth and explosiveness that you could need. Fourth round now, 3 picks because of the trade. We're at 114 here. Matthew Butler, defensive tackle, Tennessee. Again, this, like Pierce, might be a little late for him. We'll see where the range is on draft day, but I do think there's production there. 5 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss in his final season with Tennessee. The pass rush upside is there. I think you can work him as 3 technique, but I think he's strong enough to hold the point of attack. But again, another guy to get in that rotation defensive line to help out Kenny Clark. You have to. Jaron Reed's there. That's a nice signing. Can TJ Slayton do more than be a run defense guy? I'm not so sure. So you get a guy in Butler who I think can offer in both phases of the game for the Packers, and a solid selection to boot. So 132nd here, we're going to go tackle Matt WALETZKO from North Dakota, who really grabbed headlines at the Senior Bowl. He was an athletic guy, quick feet, good hands, can stick with rushers on counters, doesn't overset, can recover with that quickness and feet that he has. I think the athleticism was off the charts, and that's why you could see him go earlier than 132. But I do think, again, the offensive line for Green Bay, what are we thinking at right tackle? Do we think it's Jenkins? Do we think Josh Nijman steps in over there? We're not sure at this point, and the Packers have often dipped in the offensive line pool, even when we didn't think they potentially would do so. So you get a tackle here in WALETZKO who maybe he kicks inside, but I think the athleticism and the upsides there, play him a tackle. He could be the right tackle of the future there. That'd be a really nice value get in the fourth round. 140th overall in the fourth round, last pick of the fourth round, Micah McFadden, linebacker from Indiana. Another athletic freak at the position, and this is really to build depth in that linebacker room. Chris Barnes has been solid. Obviously, you bring back Campbell on the big deal. That's huge. But Micah McFadden has been productive, and when I say productive, we're talking serious numbers, 14 sacks and 36 tackles for loss in his career at Indiana. Instincts were there, flows downhill against the run, played some on the edge, rushing as well. Again, we saw the athleticism, but what's good about this is you give him that linebacker depth, but has the athleticism, be in both parts of the game, run and pass defense, and you get a guy in special teams who hopefully can be an early contributor there. Obviously, Green Bay needs help in that department as well. So now we're going to move on round 5, 171st overall. We are going to go with Coastal Carolina edge rusher Jeffrey Gunter. Productive player at Coastal Carolina, 2 seasons with double-digit tackles for loss. Probably a guy who's going to fit well, I think, as a rusher here. But again, what he does really well is set the edge in the run game, a la Preston Smith. Does a really good job there. Doesn't really have the length, but has the power profile to do so. Doesn't offer a lot in terms of rushing the passer yet. The toolbox hasn't really been developed. But you get him in a room now where he can really be the number 4 behind Jackson, Gary, and Preston Smith, and there's something to work with there. I think he's one of people's favorite sleepers on day 3, just because again there's a lot to work with him. High motor guy, plays with good power, and sets a strong edge. You can unlock more as a pass rusher. He has the first step, explosiveness especially, to do so. Even if it's like Rashawn Gary, where you're converting speed to power a lot, that's fine to put in the rotation for sure. So now we move on to 7th round here for the Packers. At 228, we're going Isaiah Weston, receiver from Northern Iowa. This completes the Packers room. And the biggest thing to note there is obviously size. Everybody's over 6 foot. Everybody's over 6'2", believe it or not. So that's a really good sign for this Packers group. They tend to prefer those types at receiver. And you've got your undersized guys in Cobb and Amari Rodgers at this point. So why not get guys who can go up and get the football? Isaiah Weston has the catch radius. He has the speed to win vertically as well. Helps you unlock more underneath with BURKS and Rodgers and even Lazard. Like, just another guy, add him to the room. Could improve a little bit with his hand technique, and there's been some drops, but overall, just another guy again. Add more explosive plays to this offense. Now you've added Weston, BURKS, and Pierce. All three players are explosive. And, of course, Greg Dulcich. So how can you not be happy with this haul right now at offensive skill positions? So 249 here in the 7th round. We're going to go offensive lineman Luke Wattenberg from Washington. Has the guard center versatility, a lot of experience at the position, something the Packers could use. Again, it's more just depth on the offensive line at the interior. Do we know how good Royce Newman is going to be? Obviously, Elton Jenkins is there and John Runyon are there. Those are two solid guys in there. But now we don't really have the Lucas Patrick anymore, now going off to Chicago, to be that depth guy who can fill in at multiple positions. So now you have that in Wattenberg, who I think does a good job in a phone booth in pass protection and has enough power to, to be able to anchor against strong defensive tackles. And so rounding out the mock draft here for the Packers at 258 in the 7th round, yeah, we're going with special teams. And that's punter Jordan Stout from Penn State, another Penn State guy here in this mock, second one after Brisker, who has a serious claim to be punter 1 in this class, believe it or not. Yes, we do scout punters here, no doubt about it. I know Matt Ariza from San Diego State has really claimed that title, perhaps, but I will say Stout has a ton of power as a punter and is also a kickoff specialist. So that gives you that 2 positions filled there. He can be the kickoff guy and, again, be the punter. He did kick field goals at Penn State as well. Wasn't extremely successful in terms of, the top tier kickers in college football, but successful enough to where maybe in a pinch now you have a place kicker as well on your roster, in addition to whether they keep Crosby or add a new guy to the room. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know what you think of the picks below in the comments section. It's always fun down there with you guys to talk draft and talk just the Packers in general as well. So let me know what you think. Remember, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Got draft previews for probably more important positions for the Packers in these next few weeks here. So make sure you stay tuned for that. There'll be prospect profiles as well. So keep an eye out for those as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video, though. Farewell.